discovered green jello in about, 1992 when this came out? Serial killer. Oh man, I really gotta fix this light situation. This like shade is killing me. Making me. Well, I guess this doesn't really help, does it? It's shading my face. I discovered the Three Little Pigs video like most people. It was, I guess, I wasn't aware of this, or I had forgotten what I was told this week, and they actually won a MTV Music Video Award. I know they were Grammy nominated for Best Long Form Video for 333. I believe they lost to Soundgarden. Somebody can fact check me there, but apparently they won the most played video on MTV award or something like that. And so, being 11 years old at the time, post Kurt Cobain, I discovered Green Jello and this videotape, Serial Killer, back when they were the world's first video only band. And that's also the first time I ever saw Dookie Flyswatter in the Shitman video. And now I'm making a documentary about him, and we'll watch that trailer later because it's actually relevant this time. Green Jello is a very unique band. I don't even know where to just start to describe them. I guess I'll try to go in some sort of chronological order here. I did find this bio from 1993. Here's their glossy Green Jello, classic lineup. Of course, 1993 means they had already been in a band for 12 years. They actually started in 1981, before I was even born, way before Guar. Well, not way before Guar. Guar technically started in 1984. But yeah, let's read this bio from Green Jello and see if it gives us any insight. I dropped that StreamYard link in the comments if anyone wants to join. The world's first video-only band, ... not. Welcome to the twisted world of Green Jello, the group with an emphatic two-word motto: we suck. And that's in capital letters and in quotes. So if you ever went to a Green Jello show and thought like, wow, I thought they would be better because Maynard and Danny from Tool were in this band. Yeah. No, usually we really do suck. Not really a band so much as a concept. Green Jello, I should have read this before I went on air. I'm stumbling all over these words. Green Jello brandish a guerrilla warfare mentality in their music and videos. To really understand it and believe it, you got to see it. Serial Killer, their debut long-form video from Zoo Entertainment, R.I.P. Zoo Entertainment, lovingly captures Green Jello's rampaging, kick 'em in the umlaut humor. And this is quotes, we make music that is in bad taste, admits Green Jello's moronic dictator, aka that's Billman Speaker. When somebody comes up to us after a show and says, you guys are great, I do my best to convince them that we suck, because by saying that we are great can ruin years and years of propaganda. Don't go spreading good rumors about us. The Serial Killer package thoroughly provides the following caveat. Prolonged viewing will lead to eye strain, increased irritability, nausea, lethargy, and did I say that right? Lethargy or lethargy? And generalized loss of will to live. Go read a damn book or you could end up like the idiots in this band. You have been warned. The group wastes no time making good on their threat. Kicking off the 11-song/video travesty, the insipid, INSIPID, is that insipid? Man, whoever wrote this had a thesaurus. They don't know how dumb Green Jello is. These are too big of words for us. Green Jello theme song chugs along as a ghoulish animated vignette winds its way around the opening credits. Three Little Pigs is up next. Of course, the infamous Three Little Pigs. The claymation satire bolstered by a hilarious heavy metal soundtrack, kind of like the Brothers Grimm drop Mescaline, which one of our members on my 2008 tour did drop Mescaline before a show, and run amok in a Play-Doh factory while listening to Kiss. You get the idea. Kiss, go vote for Green Jello to be on the Kiss cruise. Well, I think the voting's closed, but they are now a finalist, so maybe there's going to be another round of voting. Yes, get Green Jello to open for Kiss again. It happened a couple years ago in some like rock festival overseas. I forget where. But Green Jello actually, Bill has a history with Kiss. I don't know if you know, but the Kiss reunion when they put their costumes and makeup back on in the 90s started in Green Jello Studios, and Gene Simmons used to babysit Bill's son Damien and stuff. Crazy shit. Yeah, you can see videos of Kiss and Green Jello on YouTube. Obey the Cow God, speed punk nightmare full of latex, bovinalia, and jiggling flesh leaves a viewer in a weakened and debilitated state, helpless against the. All right, now they're just making shit up, man. I don't know. What? Let's see if there's anything else that's interesting on here that's not just specific to the video. I want to note the song "Flight of the Skajaquita" because the first show I played with them this past weekend, was in Buffalo, New York, where the band's actually from. Kenmore, to be exact, I believe. Skajaquita is the name of a road or a bridge or something. I don't know what it is, but I saw the sign and I think I rode on it. And it's the inspiration for the song "Flight of the Skajaquita," probably the most progressive rock of the Green Jello songs. It's in some weird timing. God damn it, Danny Carey. Blah, blah, blah. Oh, here we go. Serial killer is a hazardous waste byproduct of Green Jello's creative process. Writing new material invariably begins with an insane song title and proceeds to gruesome costume and prop ideas. The music is a feeble afterthought. Green Jello has faithfully followed this modus operandi since its 1981 inception in Buffalo, New York. Although the technology has improved, and then in parentheses, the group has shared latex trade secrets as well as tour dates with friends Guar, the Green Jello motto remains unchanged. We suck. Yes, and there's an important distinction between Guar costumes and Green Jello costumes. And I think Bill put it best. I think he said to me once, or I heard him say, I don't remember, that Guar costumes are very finely tuned, made, like those can be displayed in a museum as like sort of fine art. Like Green Jello costumes are made out of foam and duct tape, and we have literally thrown them off of buildings and they're just totally fine. They are durable and can be remade very quickly, and you'll see that going forward tonight. Over the years, numerous musicians have entered and exited the revolting lineup of the 74 poor schlubs accused of membership during the past decade. 15 currently fit the Jello mold: 2 guitarists, 2 bassists, 2 drummers, 2 percussionists, and a cavalcade of human puppets and screamers. So, okay, that's interesting. In 1990, what is this, 1993, Green Jello was up to 74 members. By the time I joined in 2008, I was number 237. Now I was just on tour with members who are, I think the latest one I saw was 1,114 or something around that. It's in the 1,100s now. And it's hard to say how accurate this number system really is, because like I heard someone in a podcast the other day talking about Green Jello saying that he doesn't even think Bill knows who he is because there's so many people in the band and it differs night to night sometimes that it's just pretty much impossible to count them all. But I think he, has fun with the number system, and Yeah, I'll get into it later, but there, I'm considered old school now at 237, uh, and now, as you can see, in the last 15 years, there's been a boom of activity in members, and I'll explain why that happened as we go along. From the beginning, Green Jello possessed a sense of destiny to be the world's worst band. And it's easy to not disappoint people if you come in with the lowest expectations of Green Jello. And sometimes you'll be pleasantly surprised because sometimes members of Green Jello end up producing the number one record of the Billboard charts in 2019, knocking Taylor Swift off the charts. Yeah. Sometimes that happens. Joey Blowey fondly recalls the group's early days, spelled Daze. We were very bored in high school, and somebody came up with the name Green Jello. We had the name before we actually had the band, but when we went to practice, we realized that none of us had any talent. We decided to write our own songs and make props to go with them so nobody could pay attention to the music. Soon, paper mache and chicken wire became more important than practice. I don't think they use either of those materials anymore. I think it's all pretty much duct tape and foam. But yeah, it got dumber over time, if you could say. Uh, I doubt it, but maybe we'll see. I'm not planning on it. That would be fun. I definitely voted for them to do it. Um, you can only get pity for so long with funny foam heads, Shitman pipes in. After a while, props were not enough to disguise the music, spelled Musick, like their lost second album, Puppet Music. I added that last part. We incorporated cumbersome wood sets into the show, not only as yet another deterrent to keep people from noticing the music, but also as a shrewd attempt to elicit pity from our audience. After all, you have to feel sorry for a bunch of guys who lug all this crap around from show to show. Word, it is a lot of crap. The puppets have a car and the instruments have a car, basically. Well, at least now. And there's no wooden sets anymore, but he does have a bunch of blow up things that fill up the room on the stage. And when it is set up properly, it does look very cool. I think he just puts those up outside of his house and his show What the Fuck TV now, which is just on Hollywood Boulevard. And if that sounds very confusing, I'll explain what WTF TV is later. Maybe we'll watch some of it live if they go live tonight. Since oozing westward and emigrating to Los Angeles 5 years ago. So and let me do the math on that. 1988, that sounds about right. Green Jello have continued their prop rock visual assault. We moved to LA for the same reason we started a band. Quips. We had nothing better to do. We had no hopes of getting a record or video deal. Our very first show in Los Angeles was on the Gong Show. I made a complete ass of myself in front of the whole United States and loved every second of it. We got gonged, and a month later, we got Lee press-on nails and some turtle wax as a consolation prize. Let's watch that. Have you guys ever seen Green Jello on the Gong Show? It's pretty funny. Let's see. Where's my share screen?
Welcome to the Gong Show. You've tuned in at just the right moment. We've just taken off the restraining straps. Okay, let's watch this first act. And when they're finished, we're going to ask them what they did. Here's Green Jello.
Yep, there's Bill as the rock and roll pumpkin. That's a song we haven't done in a while, I think. gongs. Wait, Bill's face here is incredible.
Look what you did to these people. Hey, come on. Up here we go. Yeah, green jello. This is a terrific act. I find versatility with this. I find all kinds of great things. You've been gonged, and I really think that's what they were here for. Here, let me point you right over here. Here you go. There goes a little green jello. Thank you very much. Yeah, that was good. Hi, how are you? Okay.
Classic. So yeah, that was like 1988 green jello. Oh, probably about 60 members in at this point. I tried to fix the lighting situation a little bit. Oh well, I'm gonna put on those real lights whenever I have a next break. Let's see, where was I? Oh yes, audience participation fuels green jello's onstage lunacy. Very true. If you are there, you're part of the show, basically. When we play live, beams the cow god, you can be in the show. You can be slamming with the Flintstones on stage, still true. Or you can end up being one of the costumes. We never have enough people to fit all the props, also still true. Yes, we have more puppets than we do have audience members. But also our band fit is like most of the people there anyways. And we usually grab people out of the audience and say, hey, do you want to be a pig tonight? There will always be someone out there who just doesn't get it. Also true. Marshall does stack size. Some people take things so seriously. We're a complete jerk. Oops. We're not going after those people. We're after the person who's a complete jerk, who thinks someone slipping on a banana peel is funny. That's kind of what we do. We slip on the banana peel, aiming for the cheap joke. We can never sell out because we sold out even before we sold. We're just a slum with a little facade in the front of us that makes people think, oh, wow, hip and happening, kind of like the Emperor's new clothes. Amazingly, people believed the facade 6 months after the release of the serial killer video, succumbing to incredible MTV support and reaction at radio and retail. Zua has released a full-length serial killer soundtracked album. The soundtrack CD contains a tasteless green jello comic book, and the cassette version includes equally tasteless trading cards. Right, where's my cassette? Do I have that here? I do. I did have it on cassette. I don't know where that is. And the band designed both the comic book and trading cards. Green Jello remains unfazed by their inexplicable success, and the serial killer video's menacing on-screen epilogue still holds true. We made this video ourselves, and we're just idiots. Anybody can do anything if they don't have anything else to do. Yeah, mantra, guys. That's words to live by. You see, as dumb as Bill may be, sometimes he's also like equally as brilliant at different times. It's a balance of dumb and brilliant, and that's why we have Three Little Pigs and how that became a gold record. Like, holy shit. Green Jello revel in their cerebral cesspool with unabashed glee, and if they can do it, so can you. Here's your chance. Wade in and enjoy the mayhem. And indeed, I did. I guess I should tell you my personal Green Jello story, more or less. I mean, besides them being my favorite band growing up at a certain time, and then it was through them, basically, that I discovered Guar and then Haunted Garage. And in fact, I didn't even realize it at the time, but in the Cow God, Obey the Cow God, one of the lyrics is, we live in a country with no Beefcake the Mighty. So there's even a Guar reference on the Green Jello record. And then Guar will make fun of Green Jello sometimes during their show or comic books in the 90s as well. It was a fun little rivalry, I guess. And they did play together. In fact, there was one show at the Palace, I believe. No, the Palladium. The Palladium, I think. I don't know. I'm not an LA guy, really. But they played there with Guar and Henry Rollins' band. And This was the Scumdogs tour, probably like 1990, 91. And Dookie Flyswatter was there, and he witnessed somebody climb up onto the speakers of the stage on the side of the stage and jump off of it, and it inspired him. I don't know if I think he may have heard himself or maybe the people below him, but it inspired the Haunted Garage song Five Dead Stage Divers. And I actually have a bootleg of that Guar show, so I gotta really look for that and see if I have an actual video of that happening. Anyways, that's not my green jello story, but that's a green jello story. um like I said, was a big fan, and they only really did one tour in the 90s. They had their Three Little Pigs uh fame, and they went on tour with Testament and Propane in what, like 1993 probably. And then after that, they kind of just stayed an LA band for what, maybe like 15 or so years. uh Bill was raising his son Damien, and one day Bill asked Damien what he wanted to do for that summer vacation. I think he was 16 years old, and he said, "Let's go on tour with your band Green Jello." And so Green Jello went back on their first tour since the 90s in 2008. And that's what you just saw at the beginning of this show, if you were around for it. That was something I made called Twilight Vision. Basically, the old version of what became this show now, which is so much easier to do with streaming technology. But back then, I was fully producing a web TV show and editing it, and not getting paid, and that's why it never didn't last too long. But I did have some great episodes. Green Jello was episode number 1 because, I mean, I'd always wanted to do a show, but they were the impetus. Is that the word to describe it? Uh, they were the first, you know, I was basically like, okay, Green Jello is coming to town. I gotta interview them. I gotta meet them. And how do I do that? I make up my own press, and that worked for a lot of bands. I interviewed Guar and the Meatmen and the Dresden Dolls and Emily Autumn, a bunch of stuff that didn't air, like 45 Grave. Man, this shade is terrible. All right, I'm gonna play a video and turn on those lights real soon. That's just me looking at it. And so, anyways, I had been talking to Carrot Top from the radio. Then they were called Joe and the Chicken Heads since probably the late 90s, trading tapes and just corresponding via email. And he was on this tour. The Chicken Heads weren't playing, but he was part of Green Jello, as you saw him in the background of that video. And so I told him, hey, if you ever need a bass player, hit me up. And it just so happens a couple months later, or a couple weeks later, a couple months later, something like that, I was in New York City where I was living, and I was at a karaoke bar for some reason. Karaoke is not really my thing, but so it must have been someone's birthday. But I found Three Little Pigs in the book, so I had to sing it, which was I always pick awkward songs to sing at karaoke because they're always very long. Three Little Pigs is like a 5 or 6 minute song. Like, that's not what you want karaoke. You want like 3-4 minutes max and out. Especially nobody there, I think, knew the song, so they didn't appreciate it. But I thought it was funny because a lot of the words on the screen were totally wrong, and I wish I had a video of what they were. If anyone can find a karaoke Green Jello video, send it my way and we'll check it out. And then during that night, I got a call from Carrot Top, and he said, "Hey, the Chicken Heads are going to play the next leg of the tour. Do you want to join the band?" And so I think that was around exactly the same time I had lost my job. So I was on unemployment. And yes, that makes sense because I flew to LA right after I got let go from my job at the time to see the Haunted Garage reunion. and all those guys from Green Jello couldn't make that show because they were on the first leg of their tour. So it was not too far long after that. And then so I flew to LA. I lived there for about a week at Carrot Top's house, and we rehearsed every day for the Chicken Heads show. I didn't do too many cool things because I didn't have a car. It was very much just like work, rehearsal, and then sleep. And then in that time, we decided that why don't the the Rosemary's Billy Goat also open the tour, and it'll be a whole Hollywood freak show. And so the band of Chicken Heads, quote unquote, also became the band of Rosemary's Billy Goat. So we basically were both bands for the whole tour. And then Green Jello would play and we would all help with the puppets and do whatever is needed. I didn't actually play an instrument in Green Jello till a couple years later, but I was considered part of the band. There was 13 humans and one dog on a bus with 12 bunks in a back room for I believe about 2 months. It was supposed to be 2.5, but we canceled like the last week because we went from LA to New Jersey back to LA. We didn't make it to New York because it was all booked up for the CMJ convention. I tried, but it didn't happen. And so yeah, we did that for a while. And Green Jello was actually at the time still a pretty solid lineup. Like it was a three-piece. It was drums, bass, guitar, and then Bill, and then a couple singers doing different characters and different songs, Carrot Top and Mike Odd, basically just anyone who was there. And so that during that tour was when the puppet mosh pit started. I don't think he had done this before, but at one show, I believe it was Mr. Smalls in Pennsylvania somewhere. I don't know. That's where the Guar record Live from Mount Fuji was recorded. It's like this big church that was converted into a venue, and it's pretty wild actually. And it's very much like on top of a hill. And the bus driver, I think that was the day he quit. Literally, yeah, we had a couple bus drivers on that tour too. And he decided for that show, because he would let the people in the audience wear puppet heads and stuff. But this is when he first started giving them out to everyone in the audience and let all the people in the puppet heads on stage with the band and did the puppet mosh pit. And of course, now that's evolved into just like a free for all, you know. And that's let's see. Yeah, we did that. So this is Rosemary's Billy Goat. This was us playing Rosemary's Billy Goat with Mike Odd. That's me in the right hand corner. And I wanted to show these specifically because this is how I got the name Kevin the Dinosaur. Bill saw me in this costume, and I don't know if this was part of the story or not, but I was very violent on stage. And you see those horns coming out? Those like kind of connect into the costume and twist to like stay in place. Like they come off, they're removable. And I was, I'm pretty active on stage, so I would knock one of those off every night, basically, in a rage or a fury. And I don't know. He called me Kevin the Dinosaur, and it stuck. And now this is my dinosaur costume. Although I'd love if someone wants to make me one of those foam and duct tape dinosaur heads, I would wear that too. But this seemed to be a good compromise for now. That's a great picture. Yeah, you could see the eyes glue and everything. And that's me and Rosemary's Billy Goat. It's not a dinosaur, it's a billy goat. And there you can see it pretty well.
Like, share, subscribe.